The girl no one wanted. The market was loud, filled with shouting, smoke, and strange smells. Creatures from many planets moved through the narrow paths, trading goods, weapons, and sometimes people. Under a rusty metal roof, inside a dark corner cage, a little girl sat alone. Her eyes were big and quiet, her face dirty, her arms covered with bruises. She didn't cry, didn't speak, didn't move. She just stared, like she was watching something far away. "She's broken," one alien muttered. "Won't talk, won't eat. Just sits there like a dead circuit. No one's gonna pay for that." Another one laughed. They were right. No one wanted her. Not the slavers, not the soldiers, not even the pirates. Finally, the trader gave up. He traded her for 2 bottles of cheap liquor and a half-broken cart. No name, no papers, no price. Just a small body thrown into the back of a wagon like trash. The aliens who took her didn't care who she was. They only needed a small hand to clean their storage rooms. When she didn't follow orders, they hit her. When she didn't speak, they shouted. When she didn't cry, they got scared. She was not normal, not wild, not scared, not even angry. She just watched. Then one day, he passed by, a tall human in a dusty coat. Boots scratched from travel, eyes sharp like a scanner. Captain Wren, a trader, ex-soldier, ship captain, loner. He came to buy fuel and spare parts. Not people, but when he walked past the junkyard, he saw the girl, not her clothes, not her bruises, just her eyes. For a second he stopped, then he turned to the trader. "How much for the kid?" he asked. The alien laughed. "You want that broken thing? I'll throw her in for free." Wren dropped a few credits, not because she was worth it, but because it felt right. He carried her to his ship, the Iron Wren, and set her down gently in the engine bay. She didn't thank him, didn't even look up. She just sat in the corner and stared at the wall. He gave her food. She didn't eat it. He gave her a blanket. She didn't use it. He tried to ask her name. She didn't answer. Still, he talked to her every day, told her stories about space battles, asteroid storms, and alien deals. She never replied, but she listened. Always listening. After 3 days, he gave her a name. "Kaya," he said. "Don't know if it fits, but it sounds better than kid." She didn't react. Not until day 5. Wren was fixing the ship's heat coils, a complex repair. He stepped out for just a few minutes. When he returned, the coils were already fixed, wires in perfect place, no sparks, no mistakes. He blinked, confused. "Kaya," he called. "Did you do this?" She didn't answer, but she looked at him just for a second, and in that moment, Wren knew she wasn't just a kid. She was something else. He scanned the system logs. The repair was done using manual override codes, codes only military engineers knew. He hadn't taught her, no one had. That night, Wren watched her from the cockpit. She was sleeping now, curled up under the blanket he gave her, but her hand was twitching like she was typing in her dreams. Her lips moved without sound, whispers in different languages, alien, human, machine. "She's not broken," Wren said to himself. "She's hiding." And he wanted to know why, but the deeper question scratched at his mind like a broken wire. Who had she been before this? What kind of mind could fix military systems and speak alien codes at her age? And why had someone thrown her away like garbage? He didn't know the answers yet, but he knew one thing for sure. Whatever she was, whoever she had been, she was not worthless, not anymore. The ship drifted through empty space, silent, cold, and calm, like nothing strange had happened. But in the lower deck, in a room barely used, Kaya sat in the same corner, still silent, still watching. But now she was not in a cage. She was free to move, to speak, to run. But she didn't. Captain Wren had stopped talking to her, not because he was angry, but because he was waiting to see what she would do next. He left tools near her, food in the same place each day, a screen turned on in her room, showing old recordings, Earth history, alien maps, machine blueprints. He never told her what to do, but she watched everything. She remembered everything. One morning, Wren woke up to the ship running smoother than before. The engines were humming with perfect rhythm. No vibrations, no power drops. He checked the logs. Someone had rerouted the power system while he slept. Better than he could have done himself. He walked down to the lower deck. Kaya was sitting in the same place, but next to her was a broken interface pad, fixed with wires she must have pulled from the wall. Ren didn't ask questions. He just sat down on the floor near her and said, "Thanks." For the first time, she blinked and nodded. Not much, but enough. From that day, Ren treated her like crew, not like a guest. Not like a child, but someone useful. She never spoke, but she started moving through the ship slowly, touching panels, fixing loose wires, learning systems by feel. Ren gave her more space, but one night, curiosity got the better of him. He ran a full medical scan while she slept. What the screen showed made his heart freeze. Her DNA wasn't normal. It wasn't just human. It had strange markers, parts of synthetic code, fragments of alien sequences. She had machine-like memory functions, cell repair abilities far beyond any known species. She wasn't built like a normal child. She was engineered. Ren stared at the results, then looked back toward her sleeping figure. The question hit him hard. What are you? He sent a secret message to an old contact, Juno, a cyberneticist and AI specialist. Within hours, Juno replied, "Where? Did you find this genetic structure?" Ren didn't answer directly. Juno sent another message. "This isn't just rare, Ren. It's classified, erased from every database years ago." The next night, Ren noticed something even stranger. Kaya wasn't just watching him. She was watching the stars. Her eyes would fix on constellations. Then she'd draw symbols in the dust on the floor. Coordinates, maybe, or warnings. She was remembering. Not learning. Remembering. But how? Ren tried asking again. "Kaya, do you remember where you came from?" She looked at him with tired eyes. Not angry, not afraid, just old, too old for a child. She whispered one word, so soft he almost missed it. Lab. That night, Ren dreamed of things he thought were gone. Experiments, war factories, secret missions. There were rumors back in the day of living programs, of biointelligence units, things made to think like AI but feel like humans. Most were destroyed, the rest lost. He never thought one would end up here, sitting in his ship, wearing a blanket, fixing engines. But Kaya wasn't broken. She was waking up, piece by piece. And Ren had no idea what would happen when she remembered everything. On the 6th day, a small probe flew past the ship. Ren didn't think much of it, until Kaya suddenly screamed, grabbing her head, falling to the ground. She shook like her mind was being pulled apart. The ship's lights flickered. Every screen on the Iron Ren glitched, showing strange codes in red. Not errors. Commands. Kill commands. Ren destroyed the probe. The lights returned. Kaya lay still, breathing fast, eyes wide open. Then she looked at him and said her second word. "They're coming." Ren stared at her. "Who's coming?" he asked, but Kaya closed her eyes again. Kaya didn't sleep for the next 2 days. She sat in the ship's medbay, eyes open, staring at the ceiling like she was watching invisible stars. Ren checked her vitals. No fever, no damage, no infection. But her brain scans were different now. Electric spikes in memory zones. Flashes of light in parts no human brain should use. She was waking up. But to what? Ren didn't know. Each time Kaya closed her eyes, images filled her mind. Not dreams, downloads. A man in a white coat. A cold room with blue lights. Voices arguing. "Too emotional," one said. "She's not stable," said another. Then a command echoed in her memory, sharp and cold. "Erase file 1209. Subject Kaya." She woke up screaming. Ren rushed in and held her hand, but she pulled away, whispering, "I wasn't supposed to feel." That same night, Ren opened his private terminal. He used an old military key, one he swore never to use again, and began searching for anything under the name Kaya or Project 1209. Nothing came up. The files were wiped from every public system. But Ren was good at finding shadows. He found a name, Draxon Core Research, a lab thought to be shut down a decade ago. Rumors said they were building biointelligence units, hybrids that could learn like machines but grow like children. Most of the test subjects were destroyed when the lab was exposed, but one file remained, hidden in deep code, sealed behind ancient encryption. Ren cracked it open, and what he saw chilled him. Subject: Kaya status: unstable response to commands, declining emotional interference, high recommendation, terminate then, a final note, with no name signed. Sell her, dump her, hide her. She remembers too much. Ren closed the file, his hands shaking. They had thrown her away not because she was broken, but because she was becoming too human. He looked back at the hallway, where Kaya now walked slowly, touching the walls of the ship. Each time her fingers brushed metal, a small spark of memory returned. A scream, a number, a location. She was a walking archive. Not just a person, but a vault of secrets no one wanted exposed. That night, she entered the cockpit without speaking. She looked at the control panel, then at Ren. "Star System 8C7, she said softly. "What's there?" Ren asked. She looked down. "I don't know yet," but she did. She just wasn't ready to say it. Ren set course anyway. If 8C7 held answers, they'd find them. But just before they jumped to warp, the ship's alert system flashed red. A foreign signal had locked onto them. Not pirates, not traitors, something. Official. A digital message came through, untraceable, no sender ID. Just one line of text: return the subject. "You are being watched." Kaya stared at the message, then said something that didn't belong in a child's mouth. "They're using ghost protocols, old tech, pre-collapse methods." Ren blinked. "How do you know that?" Kaya's voice was flat. "I helped build them." Now Ren was sure. This girl wasn't just experimented on. She had designed things no child could understand. He pulled her aside gently. "Kaya, do you remember being part of the lab?" She looked him in the eye. "I remember wires under my skin, cold hands, machines reading my dreams." She paused. "But they couldn't take my feelings." Ren didn't know what scared him more. The fact that someone had tried to delete her mind, or the fact that she had kept part of it hidden, even from herself. They reached System 8C7 the next day, a dead zone, with nothing but a ruined station floating in space. The old lab, or what was left of it. Kaya stood at the viewing glass, staring at the broken structure. "This is where they made me," she said. Ren looked at her. "Do you want to go back in?" Kaya nodded. "I want to remember everything." Asterisk, the ruined station hung in space like a ghost. Silent, cracked, forgotten. Bits of metal floated around it. Broken walls and dead wires. Long ago, it had been full of light, machines, voices. Now it was just the grave of secrets. And Kaya wanted to walk back in. Captain Ren docked the Iron Wren carefully. No alarms, no welcoming signal, just cold silence. He checked his scanner. The station had no power, no life signs, but Kaya said nothing. She simply stared at the main door, like she had been here just yesterday. They stepped inside. Their boots echoed on the metal floor. The walls were black with burn marks. Old bloodstains, shattered screens. Kaya moved slowly, her hand brushing the walls like they were talking to her. And maybe they were. "This place was clean," she said quietly. White walls, cold lights, everything smelled like glass. Ren followed close. She turned left without thinking, past 2 locked doors, and stopped in front of a sealed chamber. Her fingers touched the panel. The door slid open. No power, but it listened to her. Inside the chamber was a small metal chair. Straps hung from the arms. Above it, a broken screen flashed dead pixels. Kaya stepped toward the chair slowly, her breathing sharp. "This is where they tested my thoughts," she said. "They didn't ask questions. They pulled the answers." Her voice cracked. Ren wanted to pull her out, but she walked forward and sat in the chair like it was hers. And that's when the station woke up. Lights flickered, panels buzzed. A red glow filled the room. Old systems trying to reboot. Kaya's presence had triggered something deep in the code, something buried and alive. Screens lit up across the station. Logs played on repeat. Subject 1209, memory response, corrupted. Subject 1209, emotional barrier rising. Subject 1209, disposal authorized. Kaya closed her eyes. She whispered names, not of people, but programs. Ghost lock, Hydra chain. Voice trap. Ren recognized one of them. Voice trap was a black-level AI used for interrogation. Only one military unit had access to it, and they were off the grid. We have to leave, Ren said, but Kaya shook her head. I haven't finished. Suddenly the ship's comms crackled. A deep voice came through, synthetic, slow. You should not be here. Ren ran to his communicator. Who are you? The voice replied, she belongs to us. The station shook. Outside, a shadow passed by the window, sleek. Black, silent, a ship with no markings. No ID, no light. A Hunter-class vessel. Stealth tech, government grade. They found us, Ren said, pulling Kaya from the chair. But she stood tall, stronger than before. Her eyes glowed with something new. Not fear. Not pain focus. Give me 5 minutes, she said. Ren hesitated. What are you doing? She pointed to the main core room. I'm going to take back everything they stole. She moved fast. Her hands flying across old controls. The system resisted her. Firewalls rose like walls of fire, but Kaya didn't stop. She spoke to the station in code, old. Lost languages only a few minds ever knew. Behind her, Ren prepared for a fight. If the Hunter ship boarded, they wouldn't survive long. He loaded his plasma pistol, checked the escape route, but then the lights shut off. For a full 10 seconds, nothing. Total darkness. Then the station pulsed. A wave of red light shot through the halls. And Kaya turned around, her face calm. I have everything now, she said. All of it. They ran back to the Iron Ren. Ren launched the ship, engines roaring to life. The Hunter vessel followed, a silent predator in deep space. But Kaya didn't look back. She stared at the data core she had pulled from the lab. A box full of Forbidden's code, wiped memories, and buried commands. As they escaped into warp space, Kaya spoke again. There were others, Ren turned. Others like you? She nodded, but I was the only one who survived the full upload. Upload of what? He asked. She looked straight ahead. The future. Kaya sat in silence. The data core glowed beside her. A black box full of memories that weren't supposed to exist. Captain Ren stood at the control panel. Watching her, he had never seen her look like this. Not scared, not angry, just quiet, like someone holding the weight of 2 lives. Hers, and the one she never asked for. You don't have to open it yet, he said gently. But Kaya shook her head. I already did. Her voice was soft, like she was trying not to wake something inside her. She touched the core, and the ship's display came to life. Not with maps or logs, but faces, dozens of them, children. Some younger than her, some older, all with the same eyes, bright, focused, silent. They weren't just testing me, Kaya said. They were building copies. Ren stepped closer. Clones? Kaya shook her head. Not clones, models. Each one slightly different. Tested to see which mix of code and emotion worked best. The screen showed test results. Project Hydra AI. Human Yield Directive for Responsive Intelligence Control Subjects, labeled by number, not name. All terminated except one. Subject 1209. Kaya. They said I felt too much, she whispered. They didn't want feelings, just obedience. Ren clenched his fists. You were a child, not a machine. Kaya turned to him. No, I was never born, Ren. I was built. Her voice didn't shake. But something behind her eyes broke a little. I thought I had a life before the cage, she said. But I didn't. They gave me fake memories. Fake dreams, a fake childhood. Ren sat beside her. What was real then? Kaya looked down at her hands. I don't know, she said. But the pain. That was real. The data core revealed more. Video logs, scientists speaking like gods. We've made her too soft. Rewire her empathy pathways. Next version, less emotion. More logic, Ren had seen war, death, betrayal. But this was colder than anything he'd faced. They hadn't just tried to control Kaya. They had tried to edit what it meant to be human. Like feelings were errors and love was a bug to be deleted. Kaya opened one last file, a private message. From someone high in the chain, a voice said, "Subject 1209 is an anomaly. She adapts faster than expected. Memory wipes no longer hold. Recommend final disposal. But if captured, recover her data. It may be the key to the full-scale transfer protocol." Ren leaned forward. "What does that mean, transfer protocol?" Kaya answered without blinking. "They weren't building me to serve. They were building me to replace." She turned the screen to show a larger plan. Hydrica I. Phase 2. Transfer of leadership roles to emotional suppressed. I hybrids, a world where leaders weren't elected. They were grown, designed to be obedient, logical, unbreakable. Kaya was supposed to be the first of them. But something happened. She started asking questions, started feeling too deeply, and that made her a failure in their eyes. "But not a failure to me," Ren said quietly. "Never." The moment hung heavy between them. But it didn't last long. The ship's alarm blared. A second signal had just entered their system. Another hunter ship, faster than the last one. And it wasn't here to capture, it was here to erase. "They know I opened the data," Kaya said. "They'll keep coming." Ren checked the scanners. "Can we outrun them?" Kaya looked at him with steady eyes. "No," she said. "But I can slow them down." She walked to the ship's core system and plugged in the black box. "What are you doing?" Ren asked. "Activating the transfer protocol," she replied. "But not how they wanted." She began copying all the data, not hiding it, broadcasting it. Across back channels, ghost networks, buried satellite routes. Everything about the project, the tests, the victims, the plans, sent out to the universe. "They erased the others," she said. "But now the truth will live." Ren stared at her like she was someone new. Not a project, not a system, but a person who had taken control of her own story. A survivor with fire in her voice. The enemy ship locked weapons. "They had seconds," Chaya turned. "Ren, if something happens to me." "No," he said quickly. "Not happening. We make it out together, but deep down." They both knew, not everyone survives a war built on secrets. Asterisk, the enemy ship closed in, fast, silent, and locked on. Its weapons were ready, systems cold and precise. But inside the Iron Ren, Kaya didn't move. She wasn't scared anymore. She was awake now, all of her memories, all of her code, open and under her control. Ren stood ready to launch countermeasures. His hand hovered over the defense panel. But Kaya stepped forward and said, "Don't." He looked at her. "They'll destroy us." "No," she said, her voice steady. "They need me alive, not you." Ren froze. She was right. They weren't after the ship. They were after what was in her head. Kaya moved fast. She sat at the main terminal and plugged into the ship's internal network. Lines of code poured across the screen. Ren couldn't follow it, but Kaya could. Her fingers moved like music. Every command written from memory, not manuals. She wasn't just reacting. She was inviting the enemy in. "What are you doing?" Ren asked. Kaya didn't stop typing. "I'm giving them what they want, a signal." Ren's eyes widened. "You're giving them access to the ship?" Kaya nodded. "Yes, but not the ship, just the bait." She created a false echo of herself. A data ghost. Built from her real code. But altered, it looked like Kaya, moved like Kaya, even thought like her. But it wasn't her. She launched it toward the enemy ship using the communication stream. It was like handing them a golden key, and they took it. Fast, within seconds. The hunter ship connected to the ghost Kaya. Their systems opened up, trusting the signal. That was their first mistake. Kaya flipped the trap. Her ghost flooded their system with corrupt code, not viruses. Not destruction, just truth. Every log, every experiment, every victim from the Hydric project. She forced them to see everything they had erased. They tried to shut it down, but it was too late. Her ghost wasn't just in their system. It was their system now. The enemy ship began to shake, not from damage, from confusion. Its eye stuttered, its weapons powered down. Their perfect machine was now filled with memories of pain and fear and guilt. Things it was never designed to feel. Kaya leaned back. It's done. Ren stared at her like he didn't know who she was anymore. Not just a girl, not just a survivor, but something new. A mind that could beat a warship without firing a single shot. You didn't destroy them, he said. Kaya shook her head. No, I showed them what they built. Let their own guilt eat them alive. The enemy ship drifted away slowly. Disabled, but not dead. Kaya could have wiped it out, but she didn't. That was the difference between her and the people who made her. She had a choice, and she chose not to be like them. Ren sat down across from her. I've fought in wars, Kaya, he said. I've seen every kind of weapon, every kind of enemy, but I've never seen anything like you. Kaya looked at him. I'm not a weapon. I was never supposed to feel, but I do. I wasn't supposed to care, but I do. She paused. That's my strength. Ren nodded slowly. You think it's over? Kaya looked at the stars. No. They'll come again. Others who don't want the truth out. Ren sighed. Then what do we do? Kaya stood and walked to the center console. We find the others. There were more like me. Maybe not all survived, but some did. Ren smiled. So now we save them? Kaya looked at him. No, she said. Now we set them free, outside, space stretched out, cold, endless, full of danger. But for the first time, Kaya didn't feel alone. She had chosen her path. Not the one built for her. Not the one programmed into her. Hers, and hers alone. Kaya stood on the bridge of the Iron Wren. The stars outside no longer looked cold. They looked wide open, like a map waiting to be drawn. The data she released from the lab had spread fast. Hidden networks, whistleblower nodes, old rebel satellites, all lit up. The universe now knew what had been done. The experiments, the erased children. The failed project called Hydric. Kaya had pulled back the curtain, and the silence was finally breaking. Some worlds called it a conspiracy, others called it truth too late. But one thing was clear. They couldn't erase her now. She existed, and so did her story. Ren was busy running scans, looking for survivors. Other Hydric units who might have escaped or gone dark. Kaya helped, but her mind was somewhere else now. Not lost, just deeper. She wasn't running anymore. She was remembering everything, not just what they did to her, but what she learned despite them. What she became. Then the signal came, encrypted, ancient, and marked with a symbol she hadn't seen in years. The one they burned into her chamber wall. The symbol for reset. They're sending a purge team, Kaya said. Ren looked up. Who? Kaya stared at the screen. The ones who built the project, not the scientists, the designers. This wasn't about data anymore. It was about cleaning up the last witness her. The purge ship arrived 2 hours later. Larger than anything Kaya had faced. No markings, no signals. Just a blank hull and full silence. Ren armed the ship's defenses. We'll fight, he said. Kaya placed a hand on his arm. No, she replied. We'll end it. She didn't power up the weapons. She opened the comms instead. And she broadcast her voice into space, raw and clear. My name is Kaya. I was created in a lab. I was labeled a failure, a risk, a mistake. You tried to erase me. But you couldn't. I'm not your project anymore. I'm a person, and I'm not alone. Silence followed. Then, a reply came, not a voice, but a face. Old, pale, tired, one of the lead designers. He looked at her like someone facing a ghost. You should not exist, he said. Kaya smiled. But I do. You are the result of emotional contamination, he added. An error, a threat to control. Kaya leaned forward. No, she said. I'm the proof that your design was never enough. You wanted control, but you couldn't understand compassion. You wanted intelligence, but you feared emotion. You wanted order, but you erased every soul who wouldn't obey. She paused. I'm still here, and I remember them all, behind her. Ren watched quietly. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. This wasn't his war anymore. It was hers. The designer gave one final command. Terminate the transmission. The screen went dark. The purge ship powered its weapons. Kaya whispered. I knew they'd never listen. She activated a final command. Hidden inside the Hydric Ghost Network, a failsafe she had rewritten. Not to destroy them, but to expose them. Every system they touched, every lab they funded, every hidden file went public, across thousands of systems. Their secrets became scars they couldn't hide. The purge ship stopped moving. Its eye froze, unable to follow the order. Too many systems, too much noise. Kaya's truth had become a virus they could never clean. She turned to Ren. It's done, he smiled. Tired but proud. What now? He asked. Kaya looked out into space again. We find the others, she said. And we give them a choice I never had, Ren nodded. No more cages. No more silence. Kaya stepped away from the console. For the first time, she didn't feel like a weapon, or an error, or a survivor. She just felt free. She had been sold as worthless, traded for bottles and metal, but now, across the stars, her name was known, not as a project, not as a subject, but as a person, and that made her more powerful than anything they ever built.